It has been an utterly delightful to speak with you gentlemen today.
It wouldn't.
What was that you just said?
Can't believe it's not Uter.
Oh, we're recording this.
This ain't just a run through, Parnce. Life is just a rehearsal. Oh, we'll get to him soon.
Look at the size of those eyes.
Big eyes. Do make me run. I have no chocolate.
Do make me run.
Do make me run to the chocolate shop. Anyway, enough of that. We're all here finally after the season 9 finale. We arrived in the even Weir Republic. Look at this beautiful farmhouse. Well, thanks everyone for coming. I'm Kurt Vonnegut, the king of the queer mouse, and I say, have what you like. You can recover here. Introduce yourself, if you will. Hi, I'm Brendan.
I'm Nathan.
I'm Stab.
Woof.
I'm Goblet. I'm Flimsy. Rosewater Ouija.
I'm Flimsy.
And I'm Lawrence Nightingale.
I'm Lawrence.
Meow. Oh, that's just Baroness Berry the Veil. I'm not sure if she's dead or on a mountain somewhere.
No, she's fine.
I need to run off. I've got a pub lunch booked at 1 o'clock.
Our lunch is all around.
And
Parnce Umbleece.
Yeah,
welcome back.
You've been quiet for the duration of season 9, but you've been here all along. Here, Daddy, I want to drink your blood.
Balloon Manticores.
I'm
vacation.
They're on the vacation, but I'm not. Thank you for call. Reporting for duty.
Hello.
I'm Artie Rambo.
And Flim Fam's Ghost.
Woof woof. But we're all here enjoying it, but I can't help but notice that Pierre is still a vampire.
I know, and I am not happy about it. I'm going to call James Woods, and we're going to James Wood him.
Ring, 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 ring.
Fucking Woods never picks up his phone for me. I've got an idea.
Ring, 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 ring.
Hello, Robbie? Robbie Coltrane?
You guessed. Better voice.
My son, whose name I've forgotten, is still a vampire. He needs for to get James Wooded, but effing James Woods is ghosting me.
What do you need, Jock?
We need to go around and twat him.
Catch dead. Right in a hamster. Slipping between the blades of grass. Tiny dead.
Twat him.
Everything coming to you.
Twat him. Get him for James Woods Pierre back to his bad self.
I'll bring old Busty.
Good, I'll meet you at the late shop in 20. We can get him via Twitter. He's always there.
Her name is Selena Estetis.
I just tie my shoes. You, mouse.
Yes?
Take me to the late shop.
In was.
I am bloody was.
Oh, but only if I get forward twat James Woods.
Mon Dieu.
Let's go. Giggle, 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 giggle.
I'll just call him one more time.
Ring, ring.
Oh, he's still not answering. I will leave him a message. James Woods will come in for you. You will James Woods Pierre back to his bad self. It is the last thing you do, James Woods.
Now it's time for the song. Who would like to say? Who would like to say the name? Who would like to say the name of the character, and who would like to say the attribute of the character?
I'm comfortable with the name.
Okay, Zaz, attribute, and take it away.
Is there a tune for this?
Uta. You just say it strongly.
Uta.
Tragicomic character.
Uta.
We just want closure.
Uta.
Vegetarian and vegan friendly.
Uta.
Crush on Lisa.
Uta.
Bayern for the cups.
Uta.
Sci-fi enthusiast.
Uta.
Catchphrase full of chocolate.
Hello.
Heck is empty and all the devils are here.
We are the Antiquarians, Lawrence Nightingale and Flimsy Rosewater, currently housed by sweet, sweet mice in the even Weir Republic.
And I'm Flimsy. I'm Lawrence Nightingale, pod host, allergic to shellfish, bloodless, dislike for cabbage, and distant cousin of Bigfoot. Post office owner, Red Bull lifetime supply winner, access to Reese's Pieces warheads, working with Shreddies to promote off-food.
And I'm Flimsy Rosewater, ribbon aficionado. I seek a jellyfish that is immortal, and now his words and his colours. This mouse village, Lawrence, is delightful after what feels like decades of Xenakis' demons. I did that, don't get. We are that's your line.
Gone. We are the lickers of dusty tomes. We once were in bowels of disused stadium in Springfield Park, down the tunnels to the town hall of Layley, employed to put the Simpsons files into a spotty archive, to haphazardly document the lives of Springfield's backwaters and doors.
No longer haunted by outsider scripture demanded.
Thanks to our cousins, our cousins, for saving the WWP from Xenakis. Xenakis. We are the professionals here.
Lawrence, there's no circle needed this beautiful morning, but let's say a prayer for
That
our
is true.
4 angels, Rip,
We've
Darren
moved out of the
Spider.
circle.
We've gone to the Evenway Republic. Let's say a prayer for our 4 deceased angels, Darren Spider and HAMM. No rituals in progress, no 7 steps towards the window. We have a guest, Parnce
Yes.
Sunbleach. Where the
Welcome
heck
back.
have you been for season 9, Parnce?
Just right behind you, beside your right shoulder, whole
Very
time.
good. How did you enjoy that adventure? It was a white knuckle ride at times, wasn't it?
It had a beginning, a middle, and a conclusion. It was fantastic.
What
beg to differ.
did you were you disappointed you didn't get a mountain?
Sometimes you're the pigeon, some days you're the statue.
Exactly. Cast
Always good
connections. Who are we talking about tonight? Zaz, Flimsy?
We're talking about Uter. I would just like to extend a thanks to Parnce for the excellent sponsor narrations throughout season.
No, veto.
Vetoed.
Not accepted. Thanks retracted. We're talking about Uter, the German boy from The Simpsons.
From the earlier days of The Simpsons, for the most part.
Yes, what we have come to know as the Apu era.
We're cultural stereotypes are very much allowed.
Very much alive. Now it's just the Italians we can do, and the French, of course. So here's some cast connections. I'll say it, and you two can chip in and say whether you agree or disagree. Death.
Mm-hmm. He is aware of mortality, but also
Yes.
it's implied that he died.
Agreed.
Glasses.
Veto.
Veto. Don't recall glasses.
School.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Big moment for Uter.
Uncool.
Correct.
Maybe not. Yeah.
He's not cool.
Out of step with what is cool in Springfield.
I'm out of step with what is cool. That's what he'd say if it was Belgian.
Would you like a bite of my flavour bar? Maybe he's Austrian. Maybe he's speaking an Austrian language.
Well, in the German language version of The Simpsons, we find out that he is Swiss. Fact.
Yeah. Maybe this is the time to get into this. So myself, Parnce, I've had 5 years lived experience in Germany, the country,
I hadn't thought about that.
and 5 years working within German school systems. So I've come to know a little bit
A lot
of
of
the
Uters.
spoken German language. And Uter, I think, is just a great example of Americans who know a bit about Germany, like more than a bit. They're not just doing guesses here. And they've really crafted something that if you know a bit about Germany, you know the absurdity of this. Like neither his first name or last name are real words, but they've got umlauts, those little double dots, which is nice. He's wearing Bavarian clothing. So there's the south of Germany represented, but it's heavily suggested that, the chocolate loving thing, that's definitely Swiss. Like from Switzerland, the German Switzerland part. So you're already jumping around there. And I think, is it his uncle who owns the sweet factory in Dusseldorf? Now,
Yes.
Dusseldorf is a real place, but it's the most absurd sounding German word, I think. So they're really playing up on the funny sounding nature of German to non-German aware human beings.
Yeah, he's not it's not a stupid stereotype, it's a partially right, very silly stereotype. A very Monty Python-esque take.
And there could be hints of the Austria thing, because that's the one other kind of like, you've got a pocket of Italy that is German speaking. You've got a pocket of Belgium that is German speaking. But then obviously Austria is the other one. And yeah, the Lederhosen sneak over a little bit from Bavaria there, but much less so. They're going for the classic Oktoberfest bratwurst eating giant mass beer Bavarian look. But everything else about him is non-Bavarian. In fact, from other countries.
Yes. Yeah.
He is
So, yeah.
just a mishmash of sort of German European-esque
Say it.
collection.
Genau.
Genau.
Yep.
I don't know. I just like him. What appeals about Uter to you two, Cap?
We didn't finish the connections.
I knew you were going to say that. We can do everyone. All right, let's carry on.
There's
I
a
didn't-
system here.
I didn't see
Come
a way
on,
to get
Flimsy.
back into it after Parnce derailed it so early. No, we're going to the biography right now.
I didn't realize this was bullet point round.
No, I enjoyed we needed a bit of that.
Mobbers. Is Uter a kind of a character who would join a mob?
No.
A chant, yes, but not a mob.
At a mob, no.
We might see that.
Oh,
Yes, we might.
nice, just.
Bringing back characters to annoy Graining. He wasn't probably done about that.
No, I'd say it's more to annoy the Germans than Graining.
Love connections.
None that I'm
0.
aware of.
Possible 1.
Possible 1 or possible 0. Tapped out and Mongo.
Yes. Prominent in both, except not prominent's a stretch.
Celebrity voice.
Ish.
Who did the voice for Uter?
She is called Lucy Taylor, and she is also Martin and Sherry and Terry and Minnie Mouse from Disney.
Yeah,
But
to me,
she
he
died.
seems like a German spin on a Martin meets Ralph.
Yeah, the 3 of them can be bunched together quite nicely.
Have we ever seen that, Zaz, as far as you know?
Could be a Venn
Maybe.
diagram of those 3.
They could. Uter is a good middle ground between those 2, isn't he? But yeah, she died, and they did not give Uter a new voice.
Renew her contract. I don't know. I just like him. What appeals about Uter to you two, Kat?
I like
He's
you go first.
humorous, and in a humor-based show, that gets you points.
He is
fat,
humorous.
little fat chubby boy who says silly things.
Yeah,
And I was 10 probably when I first saw Uter, and his voice is funny. His voice was funny to me then. I don't know, 40, whatever I'm a 40-something-year-old Rob, just being introduced to Uter at this age, I don't know if I'd find him as delightful,
I would.
but based on historical context, found him to be a funny little guy.
Yes, I have no qualms with Uter.
He should have farted more. That should have been his thing, surely.
Yes, I see what you mean. Like the embarrassed farter.
Oh, I done it again. You want to make me run? I'm full of fart jokes.
No. I particularly like the figure. The figure this was accurate for about, I must have been, maybe I was like 10 when I got this, but these figures are like, maybe like 2000-ish, 2000 to 2002. So Uter's already had his moment in the sun, but he made it into the figures relatively early, which says he must have been popular to me.
These popular characters, probably top 10. What about celebrity voice?
Yes, still voiced by Lucy Taylor.
Rootsy Taylor. How about Married to Selma? No, because he's a child.
Yes, no.
But if fast forward and he grows up, I wouldn't put it past him.
Or her.
Or her, who are we to decide? Multiple jobs?
0 jobs that we are aware of.
Springfield celebrity?
No.
Not celebrity, but maybe just not a true local. He's only there temporarily, in theory.
He's a
He's
novelty.
probably known.
Novelty. That's the word I was looking.
He's
Moving
probably
it-
known to them as that's the foreign exchange kid.
That would be a factual description of him. From
Yes.
one lens, that's not all he is.
But there's
No.
a fact here that I'm bringing to the table. In the American school system, you can only be a foreign exchange student if you're between the ages of 14 and 18. Given that we're looking at like more of a primary school age in these classes of Bart and Lisa, highly doubt he was 14. But if he was, that brings up a whole bunch of new questions.
No, he was 9. He was about 8 or 9. And Springfield's a wacky place. They have their own bylaws, but I'd like to find out the details of that system as to how such a young age foreign exchange was allowed. We don't find out, do we, Zaz?
No, and I wonder if there's a time limit on it because he's been a foreign exchange student for about 31 years.
Or a week?
Get grandfathered in.
Or a day.
His parents are there as well, though.
Yeah, I sort of think maybe they came to find Uter.
Moving in with the
Slowly.
Simpsons.
No, that has not happened yet, and probably is not going to happen at this point.
Unless remnants of him were still in their bellies and they returned home. That's not
Perhaps,
what
yes,
the question
that is-
was asking.
Oof, that's a bold claim you're throwing out there for a non-Halloween episode. Incompetent.
No, I'd say he's never been shown to be relatively incompetent. I think he's one of the smarter kids, isn't he? He speaks 2 languages, unless he doesn't speak German.
More than me.
Yes.
It's 2 more than me.
Yos.
Surnameless.
No.
He has a surname, as Rob pointed out. It is not a real word. It is Zorker, but not Zucker. I wonder whether they originally called him Uter Zorker, which
Should
would
be
make him
sugar.
the sugar man, right? But Uter, I feel like Uter, I've heard that as a name, Rob. Surely Uter is no?
Not with that spelling, no.
Sounds
Not a
real.
thing.
So real to me. His character is so fleshed out.
Closest word I can think of in German would be Oder, which would be like or, but not Uter.
Or sugar.
I wish I would have come with 50 jokes prepared about Uters, like I came with crustacean ones last time.
Exactly.
I
Like
typed in famous Uters.
Hooters. Famous Hooters.
Exactly. Typed in famous Uters into Google, and it changed it to famous big game hunters, and the first one is Theodore Roosevelt. So there you go. That's your answer.
Here we go. Well, do chatbot, Rob. Here's Parnce. Here's some jokes. Why did Uter become a vegetarian?
Why?
He couldn't bear to eat anything versed. How did Uter win the hot dog eating contest?
Oh.
He said, "Don't make me run. I'm full of chocolate."
That's A-grade writing right there.
And this is why AI is definitely going to take over the world. And number
Yes.
3, why did Uter join the soccer team?
Why?
No,
He wanted to support Bayern Munich and show off his lederhosen skills on the field. Brilliant. What rank is Uter? We got A to G. What rank is he at? I've not got the list of who's in what category, in what rank. So we
that
don't
could be
know.
helpful.
Could be.
I will
but, you
tell
know.
you. I have said one.
All right. Why don't you give us just 3 people that are spread out in that list so we can get an idea of what we're dealing with?
Well, yes, I will. D is Database, Cecil and Sam. And C is Disco Stew, Doris, Lionel and Troy. And I think to me personally, he's slap bang in C or D. Probably D.
I was going to say right in the middle. Is there a
3.5.
letter between C and D?
C.D.
Good. So
Yes.
Uter Zorker, Wiki Simpson says he's in Bart's class. He's Bavarian, and he shares tragic comedy quality with Kenny from South Park, as both have a habit from dying. But Uter predates Kenny. Despite apparent deaths, both characters always return, and Uter's parents have sought closure on his fate.
Sadder Kenny.
A sadder Kenny. Why don't you read some of these facts out?
Me and Parnce will tag team them.
All right. Uter, or uterus, as it says here. Uter is Lisa Simpson's classmate and is known for being kind, friendly, and sensitive.
Uterus is originally from Germany and he moved to Springfield with his family, apparently.
Character Uterus is a parody of German stereotypes with a German accent and traditional Bavarian clothing.
Which we've disproven.
In the episode Bart versus Thanksgiving, Uterus attends the Simpsons family's Thanksgiving dinner, where he shows a great fondness for cranberry sauce. And I will back this up as a European fact. For the last 2 years, I've hosted Thanksgiving dinners for my wife's Belgian family, and the number one thing they rave about is the cranberry sauce. It seems to have
with the turkey.
with the turkey or on top of the stuffing, all good business.
Just in a glass.
That's
in a
Canadian.
glass.
It's Canadian Thanksgiving, the good one, right?
Yeah. My wife, funny you say that though, Zaz, because my wife actually did put some in a glass and just drank it and said, I would just drink this until it's all gone if I could.
Nice. That is
Uterus is a vegetarian
Commitment.
and avoids eating turkey during Thanksgiving dinner, which sparks a conflict with Bart Simpson. Saz, please tell us if any of these are not true.
None of them so far have been true. Even the name isn't true. Uterus's appearance is characterized by his round face, short brown hair, and typical German clothing, which includes lederhosen, which we've already covered thrice now.
Is the hair brown?
No.
Yeah, another
It is
no-go.
blonde.
Vetoed.
Uterus, you do the next one. Go ahead, Rob.
Oh, thank you. Uter's character is often associated with humorous stereotypes about Germans, such as a love for sausage and an interest in polka music. I don't think either have been mentioned by Uter.
No.
In the treehouse.
Uter is an enthusiastic fan of Bayern Munich.
Yes.
I saw it before you got rid of it.
Yeah, that's true, though. He does mention that. He is shown eating flavored wax, showcasing his love for unusual treat.
Again, false. These facts,
also-
we used to do real facts. These characters.
These are chatbot facts, actually, based on Wiki Simpson's information.
Nice. These ones seem real.
Then we
We'll
shall skip
right
them.
past them.
Go on, then. Choose one. You can have one each.
He has a crush on Janie Powell, one of his classmates at Springfield Elementary.
He once got left behind during an American Civil War field trip, but he was later found safe and reunited with his parents.
Debatable.
Sci-fi enthusiast, he was seen attending the bi-monthly science fiction convention.
Bimon Sci-Fi Con.
What's it called?
Bimon Sci-Fi Con.
Is that what it's really called in the show?
Yes.
That's fun. Here's a picture of him from Bongo, dressed as the Candyman. Is that a Radioactive Man thing?
He's not dressed like the Candyman that I'm aware of from
No,
the
not
movies.
the movie with the flies.
He is the
He's in a
Candyman.
I'm the Candyman, and the Candyman is back.
Yes, but he does have a hook for a hand. It's just a candy cane. So maybe there's a brief reference in there.
Candyman by Corner Shop.
Can you type in Norm Macdonald, Tim Allen, Candyman? We're getting this way too off the scent of Uter here.
No, I get his band. All right. He did the voice.
Oh, Norm.
Oh, no, rest in peace.
Meat grills.
Lisa identified Uter as representing the omnivore amongst the 20 type of people you meet in elementary school. Is that true?
Yeah, I think that's in one of the books. Like one of the, like that Flanders Book of Faith, but about Lisa Simpson.
Yeah, read this one, Zaz. This seems like it's designed to annoy you.
Uter was able to slim down and grow up to become a film, theatre and holodeck star, having lived a diet entirely of fish logs. When Bart needed a digestive tract transplant, Uter donated his, as he felt indebted to him for first introducing him to fish logs. After thanking Bart in person, Uter went on to film Look Who's Shooting Her Now, playing the role of McBain.
A lot of false news about Uter here. Any of that true?
That's that extra panel I sent you yesterday that I forgot about completely. But it's like a non...
I know it's in here. It's in here. Don't worry, we get to it.
Okay, it's like a non-canon bongo.
NCBF. Uter is... Brad, you read this last one?
Uter is most likely based on Augustus Gloop, okay? The gluttonous German boy from the book Charlie and the Chocolate Factory by Roald Dahl, and its 1971 film adaptation Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, which is rather ironic since Uter once made a chocolate diorama of the boo.
That is one of the better Uter scenes as well, and I almost made it in, but they get over to his diorama and it's empty, and he's just got his head down in shame, and then he looks up and he says, "I begged you to come here first. I begged you."
But that doesn't make
That's his greatest line.
This has got to be the most. That's got to be the best one.
That is very good.
I begged you to look at mine first. I begged you.
Brilliant. It's also going to get us banned from the YouTubes, but whatever. So you have your action figure there, which he's holding Joy Joys. So it says that those are custom accessories. Is that correct?
I'm going to say
Joys are mentioned.
Joy Joys are mentioned. But did Uter come with the Joy Joy and the candy stick?
I don't remember the candy stick, but I kind of remember the bag. Maybe they've put the Joy Joy sticker onto it, but I definitely remember the bag.
Also, just for context, Joy Joy is not a real German marzipan product.
Does it
and again,
have
we get the people, with or without iodine. But this is someone who knows their Germany, because marzipan does come from the north of Germany, in the town of Lübeck originally.
Slow to warm up to things up there, but once they get a hankering for something, I know I'm marzipan.
No stopping them.
That's right. Favorite fruit, Black Forest cake.
Yes, this specific Uter has been to Austria with me as a child, I believe.
Oh, how did you carry it? Did you smuggle him in?
Yes, I'm not prepared to tell you how.
You wanted to release him back into the wild.
Christopher Walken.
Exactly.
Black Forest cake, flavor whack. Once ate his own diorama, has a secret crush on a girl named Cookie.
None of this is true.
Uter came, this is canon though, it's on the card.
T-shirt.
Uter came to Springfield from Germany, where his strict parents only allowed him to eat sweets once a year on Helmut Newton's birthday. In America, away from parental supervision, he went on a world-class candy-eating binge that continues to this day. Due to his portly figure, funny accent, and lederhosen, he is a popular target of school bullies and has been a recipient of numerous wedgies, swirlies, Indian burns, can't anymore, rear admirals, noogies, and general beatings. Any of those strike you as fun?
I think the Indian burns came from Hank Azaria directly.
He actually said it for this. They did an audio version of this card. They brought him in just for that line. He insisted on it.
He re-recorded Mr. Burns' entire back catalogue in Indian because he misunderstood what he'd been asked, which was he'd been asked nothing. I have this card as well somewhere. And the cookie thing. Cookie? No, that's as canon as Marilyn Goodman.
He has been snapped with a towel for having bosoms by a grown-up adult Homer Simpson. That's funny. Don't make me run. I am full of stereotypes, says. Sweats fudge is what the card says. He sweats fudge. I don't think he sweats fudge. How about this?
Been taken
almost $1,000. Well, if a canon person takes liberties, then it makes it canon, surely.
Yes, that is true. But are we counting, a pack of cards canon?
Groening signed them all, one by one, hand signed.
Exactly. Each individual card.
$1,000 for this prototype rare Arta uterus, 12-inch plush one.
And then you have to pay.
Suspicious that it's legit given 100 Earth pounds. I'm suspicious they didn't know the kid's name Do you think that's legit?
The
I
hair
think
looks
maybe-
quite off.
Yeah, I think someone's repurposed a Ralph. Have a look,
Someone's-
see if you can find a Ralph plush. I want to see the face.
What's his last name? Wiggums.
Yes, Simpson.
Ralph Wiggin Simpson.
Oh, maybe not.
I'm the Candy Man, and the Candy Man is back. Well, listener, if you can believe it, we're laughing at these humorous things. I'll send them to you as you can put them on the screen.
Yes.
Anyway, shall we get to some content? Nearly 40 minutes in.
Let's do it.
Is this Uter by Kearney? Because everybody knows that Uter is dead. Is deed.
I don't know what that's from. I like that.
But first, before we get it, I've received a letter here from Drake. Jack, would you like to read it yourself, or shall we tag team it?
You can tag team it.
Shouldn't have done that voice because now I have to find that line and pitch shift it. Jack, just be quiet for the rest of the episode.
Okay.
No, you're making it worse.
I'm sorry. All right.
We got a letter here. It appears to be from the rapper Drake, addressed not as his regular letters are to Kurt Vonnegut, but in fact directly to Jacques Derrida, postmodernist philosopher. Quiet, Jock. Dear Professor Jacques Derrida, I hope this letter finds you in best spirits and in pursuit of ever-provoking intellectual endeavors. Allow me to extend my warmest regards to you and my deepest appreciation for the profound impact your work has on my thinking. Just written a book of poems, hasn't he, Drake?
Yes.
All right, let's tag team it. Who's next?
I'll go. As I sit here, my mind buzzing with thoughts inspired by your philosophical insights, I am compelled to share with you an extraordinary journey I am currently undertaking. I find it fitting, as an avid admirer of your intellectual prowess, to recount the peculiarities and marvels of our travels through the even Uter Principality. Accompanying me on this surreal expedition are several companions, each adding their unique charm and perspective to the unfolding tapestry of experiences.
Among them is Flimsy Rosewater, an extraordinary poet whose verses have the uncanny ability to conjure vivid imagery and emotions, evoking hidden realms of the subconscious. Then there is Lawrence Nightingale, a polymath and a compassionate soul whose insights into the human condition never fail to inspire compassion and empathy. Brendan and Nathan, a pair of audacious explorers, bring a spirit of daring and excitement to our adventures, urging us to embrace the unknown with open hearts and minds.
And of course, I mustn't forget to I'm the Candy Man and the Candy Consent. And of course, I mustn't forget to mention our delightful companions, the folk mice. These charming little creatures have an uncanny ability to uncover the most obscure paths and reveal the hidden connections that often elude human perceptions. As we journey through the even Uter Principality, the landscape itself seems to echo the essence of your philosophical explorations, a realm of ambiguity, multiplicity, Michael Keaton deconstruction. The interplay of ideas and cultures here is both bewitching and bewildering, and we often find ourselves immersed in deep discussions about the very nature of reality and language, echoing the very themes that you so brilliantly articulate in your works, you bastard.
Indeed, Professor Derrida, your intellectual legacy permeates even the remotest corners of our journey, shaping our perspectives and guiding our quest for truth and understanding. I write this letter with a heart full of gratitude and admiration, hoping that it reaches you in the best of health and spirits. The wisdom you have bestowed upon the world continues to resonate and inspire generations, myself included. In closing, I extend an open invitation to you, dear Professor, to join us on this odyssey should the winds of fate ever bring you to the even Uter Principality. Also, you were robbed on the sponsor.
Your presence would undoubtedly enrich our discussions and elevate our encounters to unparalleled heights. With the utmost respect and admiration, I remain sincerely yours, your name, Drake.
What is this nonsense? Who is this Drake? A poet? He writes garbage. I'm going to get James.
So we get into some content.
Content.
Brendan and Nathan, you two take a back seat this week. We've been your companions for 10 episodes. Now you sit back and listen to us
We
talk
are
about
sitting back.
something.
What are we getting in
Sit
your
back.
way or something? I was literally over the other side of the room.
You
Wasn't
just
even
sit a bit
listening.
sit
Wasn't even
further back.
listening. Take longer to get to content than we do on our show.
Don't you talk to me about Maud Flanders.
Anyway,
I'll be
thanks,
back probably.
cousins. Our cousin, you guys. Thanks for sitting down over there. It all got a bit meta, didn't it? For just a second.
Yes.
Want to give the good people some context for this content?
It's all about Uter.
Clip 1, Season 5, Episode 5, Treehouse of Horror 4 debut. Bark is gurgling, so Bart is gurgling, go Milljot. So Bart is doing something to Milhouse, right? He's annoying Milhouse. So sweet, trustworthy Milhouse. He thinks Bart's up to something. He says, "Actually, Bart, you're creeping me out. I think I'm going to go and sit with that foreign exchange student." Well, yeah, Bart's convinced that someone's up to something, isn't he? And he's like protesting to Milhouse. Milhouse says, "I'm going to go sit with that foreign exchange student." So we see Uter in the back of the bus. This is his debut. Milhouse boy runs over and says, Uter is excited. He has candy around his mouth and he's eating candy. "Oh, guten Tag. Hello, guten Tag. Would you care for a gut of finger steak?"
Would you care for a bite of my flavour bar?
Very kindly offers. Milhouse looks taken aback. "I also have a bag of marzipan Joy Joys. They do love the marzipan in Germany, I say." It says with iodine.
So that candy bar, from what I heard, was Wengeler Strasse bar, which I verified through a Reddit post regarding this scene. And again, back to my theme from earlier, these people know they're German and they know enough about what is German and what is not, because Wengeler is not a word in German. And Strasse, of course, means street. So Wengeler Strasse would be the name of a street in Germany, theoretically, and has been given to this candy bar. No such candy bar exists.
Musikstrasse mit dicke
Easter eggs here. Bornheim Easter egg.
George,
I'm unfamiliar.
An actual neighbor of mine when I lived on Kanakazui in Frankfurt. One of the buttons to ring people in my building just said Gavin.
Every time I would go around to visit Rob McLeod, I would be tempted to press not the Robert McLeod button, but the mit dicke button. But I was never brave enough to push the button.
So I've noted that similar to Barb, he has a non-canon introduction, but he's later brought into regular canon T-shirt. And also, I've just noted connections to other cast characters a lot throughout these, and we've gone over the voice, Lucy Taylor, who died, and the other three voices, Martin, Sherry, and Terry, are all replaced. Uter was not. So Uter has technically been retired in a similar way to Lionel, Troy, and Edna. And I like how unapologetically round he is.
Apologetically
got
round.
Bosoms, which we might get to.
That kid has bosoms.
Clip 2, Season 6, Episode 8.
Do you have anything else to say about Uter before we move on from that first clip part? What do you think of the introduction to Uter?
I think it's interesting that they chose to introduce him on a school bus. That's a good writing device, because you can just move over to another seat, another scenery, and have the character introduced in that way. It's kind of strange to introduce the candy if there's no follow-up on this, but then as we realize, every scene is just that this guy likes sweets, and that's as deep as the character goes.
Slenderization. It's also a Treehouse of Horror introduction. There can't be many of those, can there, Zaz?
No, I can't think of any others off the top of my head, but I'm assuming there's one or two, but it definitely stands out as odd that he comes in, because the joke is they needed someone who was
full of chocolate,
less weird than Bart at this time. Basically, like Bart's creeping Milhouse out, so he needs to go to someone who is
he's being used to lighten the mood here.
Yeah, it's implied that normally Uter would creep Milhouse out, but in this situation he'd rather sit next to Uter than Barter. And
we assume Uter's been around for a while at this point then, but I guess not, because Milhouse meets him for the first time in this non-canon episode.
Yeah, no, this is his first. There's nothing else prior to this Uter-wise.
There's no Uter in any background scenes.
No, and I think Ralph wasn't established enough for it to have just been Ralph in this scene, because I think like a year or two later it would have just been Ralph.
Yeah, but they would have robbed us of such a great character. Clip 2, Season 6. Bart does. Basically a full year later.
This is Lisa on Ice, by the way. I put the wrong title in it.
Homer is soapboxing. He said, "It's not that I want to give." Homer is soapboxing. Is annoyed. "I don't want anyone to give her a hard time just because she looks different." He points to Mo.
Points to Uter, the character, the focus character.
No, he doesn't. He's pointing around and he's saying, "No taunting." And then he sees something. He bursts out laughing and he points at an almost naked Uter. "Look, that kid's got bosoms." He grabs a towel and the hockey team look on, including Jimbo. Uter sets off running. Come here, you butterball, shouts abusive Homer. Don't make me run. I'm full of chocolate. Ha, classic Uter.
Yeah, this is what I would say is Uter's iconic moment in the show. Like, this is the one that had to stay in. I would like you to play the scream if possible, because I think the scream doesn't get enough. Because of the chocolate line, the scream is overlooked. But the scream, he does two little screams, and the first one is realization, and the second one is terror. And they're really my favourite part of the that particular scene.
Oh, so Uter then joins Bart later and tries to give him some sweets, right?
Yeah, he gets moved, and Bart gets sat next to Uter in the same episode, and he offers him more sweets.
This didn't make it. Didn't make it.
What are you talking about? It's the most best one.
Don't make me run.
Come here, you butterball.
There are multiple screams there.
Yeah, the two that he does before he says "run, make me run, I'm full of chocolate" are like, he realizes what's about to happen to him in the scream.
Homer
And I
could
also
probably
like
get a
he
good
looks
whip
at his-
on that towel. Have you ever been whipped? Have you ever been whipped on the nuts with a sharp towel? I'm glad you're a man who's experienced that kind of nut whipping more than once, surely.
Not on the nuts, but definitely on the legs. I remember a family reunion where a bunch of us were doing towel whipping that left a lot of severe bruises on all of our bodies.
Bruises.
So we learned to stop doing that.
The whole
Towel
McLeod
whipping with-
towel whip of Thanksgiving towel whip time with the McLeod.
Fill the
With
towel
a-
with cranberry sauce and
A
hurt
bag full of
somebody.
nickels.
Whip it at my mouth. The Umbleece Thanksgiving experience. Anyway, yes, that is Uter's most. I'd say it's his moment.
It solidifies who and what he is about.
Clip 3. Much ado about Azuria. Mysterious music as Uter. Clip 3, season 73. Mysterious music as Uter walks, fully lederhosen up, camping and on candy bar. Uter, bully, grabs Uter's lederhosen straps. Hey, German, go back to Germentia. And I made a note of the story. I'll go back to France. I'll tell you that in a minute.
Yeah, that's what I thought of immediately.
The children, they are taken aback. They circle him. I do not deserve this. I've come here legally as an exchange student. Does a German man do Uter's voice? I ask. Please, Skinner is not happy. Young man, he folds his arms. The only thing to exchange for you is our national dignity. The children all laugh. William Groundskeeper is looking in. He is not pleased. He runs into the circle and he fists up Queensbury style and shouts at the children, you want to pick an immigrant? Then pick on Willie. Skinner says, Willie, please. FF Skinner looks very South Park.
Yeah.
Willie, please. The children want to pick on someone their own size and he shoos him away.
Nice. I like it when our casts connect on from one another, and the Willie cast, we looked at this exact same scene.
From the Willie perspective.
Yes, but now we're looking at it from the Germanian Uter's perspective.
And I like that Germania, I feel, is just thrown off as like an ignorant line from Nelson, like he doesn't know Germany is the name of the place. But again, little nod, wink, wink. These people know they're German. Of course, Germania, the historical region, which is now modern-day Germany, Poland, Denmark, Czech Republic, and the Netherlands. So there is that little throwback there that Germania is actually a thing, even though it just would sound like an ignorant comment.
Very clever.
I was a part of that ignorance until just now.
So my daughter was on the park in Wigan, in Abram, just near my mother's house when she was about 6, maybe, playing on the swings with my mother. And a younger girl about her age with some older kids. And the younger girl came over and said, where are you from? My daughter is half Japanese. Where are you from? And she says, I'm from Japan. This sweet little 6-year-old that's just visiting Wigan and has never really spent any time here before, playing on the swing. And the girl then comes back and says, I don't like you. Why is your skin that color? Go back to France.
Did she not play with her for like half an hour first and then change her mind?
Then change her mind on the immigration issue.
Yeah.
Go back to
Pick on
France.
Willie.
And
Yeah,
as
so
Skinner
it's
says, the kids want to pick on someone their own size.
Exactly.
which is accurate. That it did remind me of that, the ignorance of children. And I do like this is just in there. This entire clip is sort of in there as a political or more of a social commentary. I suppose that's what they're famous for, actually. But the story was about Apu and like the immigration issue between adults, and then I like that they just show that it filters down to the kids who are sort of like, Nelson doesn't know why he doesn't like Uter, and then Willie comes in to do the right thing, and it's Skinner who just tells him to. I also feel the same way about you as these children feel about Uter. Clever.
Cutting, isn't it?
Yes, seething. Skinner's not come off well in our last 2 episodes. We did Bongo Cast 2 the other week, and he was a real
Jerk.
See you next
I don't
Wednesday.
like to curse. I like to tittle.
He's a sod.
So above as is below, as they say.
Exactly. Tail states. Clip 4. Season 16, episode 15. They are dancing in the Springfield gym. Future flashback as the singer Larry David iPod experience. How quaint. How quaint. An iPod disco in the future. Grown-up Wesley Pale and grown-up Uter. We
Wendell.
find... Is his name Wesley?
Wendell.
Wendell.
We'll come to him in the Wendell cast, don't you worry.
So we find that they are shouting, and Uter is still in America now with a lederhosen style suit. He is classing both in shot of skin.
I like that they're chanting I took it out as well, the context, but it doesn't really help, but they're just
He's
chanting
chanting USA, isn't he? Yeah.
USA finds the head. And Skinner says that it's Gulf War 5. Operation Find Our President's Head is about to begin. So it's possible, given Uter's enthusiasm here, that in this fake, fictional, non-canon future that he joined the army. And he also kind of gives me a look of, I can't remember his name, in Full Metal Jacket. The one that Full Metal Jacket's first.
Bill Paxton.
Pyle. It's the guy.
Wilmer Pyle.
It's Kingpin, isn't it? It's Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah, he does himself in, doesn't he?
Yes.
D'Onofrio.
Yeah, I don't know why, but he's making me think of that character here. I don't know if it's like he has the buzz cut side hair normally as a child, but it seems to be more threatening as an adult, or more like a statement haircut rather than just a thingy.
Well, record for most weight gained for film role.
Until Brendan Fraser came along for The Mummy 3.
For Tarzan.
What do you think of this flash forward future here, Parn?
Well, we discussed earlier, would he be mobbing? Would that be one of his hobbies? I'd say no mobbing, but
no
he does
mobbing.
seem to like a good chant and a good cheer in a crowd.
Yeah, I
I've
think
got no
so.
issues with.
Getting into it, right? It's all good, proper
Prior
good
to this
stuff.
prior to Find the Head as well, you can see him dancing with a unknown female student
Cookie.
she doesn't seem to be like an aged up version of one of the kids though. Like you can see there's a mixture there in that crowd. You've got some like Wendell and Lewis and like Janie and the girl Alison, who's Lisa's rival,
And
which
a
is
Martin,
also
maybe in there.
I think that might
That's
be
a
Martin
Martin.
behind Uter. Yeah, but then like the girls at the back aren't anybody, and I think one of the girl he's dancing with is just a new student female.
Dance
I
miss.
also forgot to point out in the last, when he's being bullied, it feels very Mole Man at this point, that when we see Uter, something bad's happening to him.
Maybe is that a cast thing that bad things are always happening to these characters, or do we not have enough of those?
I possibly don't think. I think we only have currently Mole Man.
Lunch
Possibly
Lady
Lion.
Doris. She's usually cool, calm, and in control.
Yeah, she doesn't seem to have a lot of Poochie. Poochie, only good things happen to him except for his death.
Disco Stew. He's in the middle.
Yeah, sometimes he's happy, sometimes he's really sad.
But bad things
Sometimes
don't
disco sale projections.
do not advertise.
If these trends continue.
Tip 5, The Devil Was Nada. Season 2, 10R. Martin and Uter are in the treehouse. They are scoffing a lot of cake and cookies. Sanku charity chicks, says Uter as he stuffs cake into his mouth. It is a particularly fat Uter, and he looks very large, and he falls through the floor of the treehouse and it breaks. Is that because he's fat?
Yes, titties. Yeah, I think that's the joke. I only realised this while doing this, but I think this might be Uter's last line, and it was like 13 years ago. So they basically did what they've done to Apu to Uter successfully like a decade ago, and no one really noticed, because they got rid of, like, Uter was non-speaking long before Russi Taylor died, so they just sort of phased him out, and I actually didn't realise until now. I'm very surprised I couldn't find any later, similar to like Sam and Kashmir, where I thought there'd at least be one or two lines later on within the span of like 25 years, but there just isn't. So it's strange that but I like that his last spoken line. He is again talking about food, and he's being pleasant as we have known him to be.
Yeah, thank you makes up half of his last 4 words in the show's series.
And charity.
As someone, if you would have asked me what would his last word be, chicks would not have been the one that I would have thought of. And as someone who has taught German students their phonics, the S I know is commonly thrown in when you're trying to do a German accent or a Z at the start of words, but much more common is the letter F to replace the TH sound. So it'd be much more likely, realistic, if it was thank you, charity chicks. We've done many
charity chicks. That's Swedish as well.
Need to do a lot more practice with the stick your tongue out at the teacher moment. You do that. Not tough. That's a big challenge for some of them.
It's a shame Russi Taylor is too dead to take any of these notes.
I'm a voice coach for the dead.
You can still do it. So now that's it. That's all of the clips. We got some bonus clips we'll get to in a minute.
There's genuinely, I was very surprised that there wasn't more. I thought I'd maybe just missed some Uter stuff because I've only watched the new ones once. But as much as I looked using Simpsons fandom wiki and good wiki, I can't find any more Uter dialogue.
This episode's probably going to be about 10 minutes long, isn't it?
Yes, but except for all those Drake letters to pad it out to like 3 hours.
Actually, another one's just come through the fax machine, but we'll get to it. It is me, Uter, star of stage, screen, and holodeck. So they were now in Bongo Land, clip 6, Bongo. And Uter, properly jacked up like McBain, strolling through the hospital door. He's another future Uter, and hard to know what's going on. He says, I wanted to say danke. Ever since you served me fish logs, it was all I could eat. I slimmed down and became the international cinema action hero I am today. And Homer Simpson says, hey, no problemo, man. I always knew you'd be a star. Homer Simpson says, I always knew you'd be a star since you only have one name like Cher, Fabio, and Carrot Top Jr. And this scene
I've never heard before.
I'll paint it for you. We got an old Marge with her penis hair now graying on the sides and her face looking like an old shoe. We got I'm assuming Homer's dead.
Homer's in the first panel.
Not looking at that panel anymore.
He's even in the bottom left. Got a back
in the banner headline. So Bart, he's balding a bit and he's got a little tash and he's in bed. He's sick for some reason and all his family's there, probably dying. Cheery.
This is what good comedy needs a comedic setting, and this is it.
This is the one. That famous kid we all know and love. Here's how he ends. I remember this comment. It is me, Uter. I remember. I don't remember this part, but I remember the cover. I remember he got a free bar of Simpsons chocolate.
Show me your leadership capabilities.
I like this comic. I like the reference to stars of stage and screen. And the Uter and McBain thing never got did. And you'd think like, I'm surprised when they didn't reach for a parent. I suppose they would have had to make it more of a story, but when they needed a parent for Uter, they didn't just make it Wolfcastle. And I do like this design though. Like he does look. It's a sort of a good mix of the two of them, but I could also believe that it was Kearney without the hair.
Did he? The story is he took over from McBain?
It seems like it. I think he just turns up as a German Machner at the end of the stories and just says like, yeah, Bart needs some kind of transfusion or something, as we said before, and then Uter turns up like, oh, you did something for me when we were like 10, which was give him like fish bars, so now I'm going to repay the favour as a famous adult. But it's a nice success story for Uter. It's nice that they could have used anybody, any of the kids, and also it would have, again, like Milhouse or Ralph would have had the same sort of joke, basically, like, oh, look, they've become a success. So it's nice that Uter got it.
But we wouldn't have got this wonderful fourth panel that we'll get to in a moment in that situation. Parnce, any comments so far on this, Jim?
Earlier, we talked about the idea of young Uter being a possible Venn diagram between a Martin and a Ralph. And yeah, here it looks like this is we already dropped the name, Kearney and the Wolfgang action hero guy.
McBain.
It's quite a transformation. Yeah, the McBain. It's quite a transformation from youth to adulthood.
Absolutely.
You usually don't see this much of a, like, when you see the kids as adults, they've basically not changed. So it's quite nice.
We've just seen him in high school in a dance to an iPod experience. To think this is maybe another 20, 30 years on from that, that's quite an adjustment.
It is. He's done well because he looks, they must be like, I think they're implying they're in the like late 40s maybe, because they've got the eye wrinkles that they give to people over 40.
Crow's feet.
Yes.
Well, I must away. I'm due on the set of my next movie. Look who's shooting her now. My boy's good looks got me the part of the new McBain. Psst, is he, Come on. No, Homer, celebrities are all a bit eccentric. I get. Remember when we met Fred Savage, old Fred Savage, and then he rides away on a robot. I'm going to call it a unicorn.
Yeah.
Nay, chick, hey, hi ho, later, hosen away. he almost takes out the nurse's head, but we don't get the nurse's perspective on this as usual. And he rides away into the sunset. Typical.
You can't make that assumption. He might crash into a wall. I thought the horse was in armor until you just said the thing about the robot. And that Fred Savage joke's one for the kids, isn't it?
Only 90s kids will something.
Comic reading youth. What do you think about this situation, Parnce?
None of your damn business.
You're not the boss of me. I feel that last panel, in typical Bongo fashion, could have been used for much better comedic purposes. The hi-ho lederhosen away line doesn't seem like that was the most optimal line. And the fact that the robot horse unicorn is saying whatever it's saying, nay, I feel the text in this one could have been done much better given the silliness of the visual.
Just imagine that you, Rob, as a cartoonist, has spent 2 hours, 3 hours drawing this panel, and someone had added perfecting that robot horse that nobody asked for, and then you hand it over to your good buddy, and he writes that dialogue. Oh, paint me that scene.
I lederhosen away is so bad I didn't realise it wasn't even in there until you just brought it back up. My brain had just not seen it.
I remember
tried to forget it.
A joke or a pun?
No.
Hi-ho.
Hi-ho silver?
Hi lederhosen away?
Yeah, hi. And like chocks away, I'm assuming is that a thing? But
no, hi-ho away is a cowboy thing. I've heard that one.
It would make sense if the horse was called lederhosen unicorn.
It would not make any sense.
It would be like.
It's what the Lone Ranger used to say, hi-ho, silver away. So in this case, his horse is called lederhosen.
Yes, I think that's what's happened here. Again, one for the kids.
We're not told that. That's a hidden... You have to read their backstory like the Blair Witch.
It's kind of like Lost. If you don't do the online reading, you're not going to get...
There should be a little asterisk that says, this one's just for the kid down at the bottom.
A prize to anybody who gets this reference.
Bonus Vo is Uter. So Zaz made a brilliant set of clips here that you'll all see on the screen as you get banned. Homer's a critic, pass it on. Maud Flanders. Remember her?
It's Maud Flanders. Remember her? Be quiet over there, Nathan.
Getting all frothy over there in the corner, aren't they? Leans over to Skinner. Skinner leans over to Uter's parents in a restaurant and says, Homer's a critic, pass it on. Quit changing the subject. Where is Uter? His dad is very angry and his mum looks sick, but dad does not look like he is just a big angry big Kev in German.
I agree.
And again, sorry to be this guy, but bringing in some folks, Kev, bringing in the German, mild, tiny amounts of German knowledge that I have here. What's interesting is they do say, wer ist Uter, which is a proper German sentence, but that would literally mean, who is Uter? Wer in German being who, but of course it sounds like where, and it sounds like, you're doing the accent. But if you were to ask, where is Uter in German, it'd be, wo ist Uter? But wer ist Uter? Yeah, they're playing around with us there.
An entendre, possibly. But only single.
Skinner.
The sooner do you get them out your door, but they're in your window.
Skinner is in lederhosen talking to Bart. I've got a good feeling Uterus is around here somewhere. He has eaten him, I think.
Yeah.
I bet. The buzz is escaping. All the children are getting gone, but Uter is so slow. Wait, he implores. He falls to his knees as it looks like the riot police circle him and begin beating him as the bus drives away. Now we all know.
I slowed it down because you can see them make the first hit, which is quite probably not. They probably cut away for the purpose of not showing that. But the bats are really they've been lowered to maybe like an inch above Uter's already fallen child body when it cuts away. So it's quite, again, we're in Mole Man territory here, where if this was, I'm sorry to say her name again, Nathan, but if this was Maud Flanders, you keep her name out of your mouth, she would, she'd be dead. She'd be she would have snapped her neck, falling over or something. But Uter, the little butterball, just rolled to the floor and got
typical,
absolutely beaten up, beaten probably into some kind of coma by riot police.
The mother of Uter. Like a Clockwork Orange, isn't it? A bit. The mother of Uter. We just want closure, she grins sweetly. Wo is Uter? Dad demands, and Skinner leans in. Isn't there a little Uter in all of us? He laughs menacingly. Is that I mixed two clips there?
No, I do this every time, and it doesn't really benefit us when we're talking about it. But I like them. I like to put things thematically into the video. So, like, yeah, they've eaten the Skinner stuff. Is they have no budget in probably the most disturbing Halloween special. So again, cast connection. Doris murders and cooks Uter and makes, I think, like Uter Bracken or something like that, and they have like an Oktoberfest day, and that's when they've already eaten Jimbo at this point though. So Bart and Lisa are getting a bit suspicious, and that's when Skinner goes hard on his puns until he eventually just admits what happened in a very literal way.
We see Uter in the vent as we go through. Is this an opening or something? He's fastened to the wall in spider webs, and then back to the mother. Wo is Uter? Mother, we just want closure. Parnce?
Don't have much there. I don't know the context of the in the vents thing. Closure in German, Verschluss. I don't know if I'm having a hard time bringing anything new into this one.
Verschluss.
This is just a rehashing. I just threw in some later ones to show that Uter was still around, but I needed help from Wiki, so I didn't have to do much myself. So I just went for the ones where it said Uter was. And this is, again, it just reminded me of like a Mole Man thing. And it also, I can't believe this is Uter and not Ralph or Milhouse, but it's like a 24 parody. He sees like 4 or 5 different things. It's like Bart crawling through the vents, but they do it as like a first person sort of kind of 3D looking thing that isn't particularly good.
It's just a sight gag, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's like 3 or 4 of them of things in the vents. I can't remember any other ones, but one of them was Uter.
Oh, lunch lady, please have another sloppy Jimbo. Cannibals, das ist good, right? Says Uter as he's eating. Skinner turns up. Report to detention, Uter says. For how long? His sloopy Jimbo dripping onto the floor. Oh, about 7 minutes. A pound should do it, says Skinner, licking his lips.
Nice. Do you have any recollections of this one, Parnce, this specific Halloween?
I do. As we got discussing it, actually, I had this kind of like flashback memory to watching this in real time when it was on TV when I was a child. And I remember thinking, like, I feel uncomfortable hearing this. And now at a much later stage of my life, I also feel uncomfortable hearing this, but for different reasons.
Feels so comfortable.
Also, just thinking back to the totally off topic here now, but back to the fact that his uncle is from Dusseldorf. Brennan, fun fact for you. I saw Paul McCartney perform the song Temporary Secretary in the city of Dusseldorf one time. That's it. The end.
Just on the street.
Yeah.
Hey, while we're getting banned by Disney, hey, why not get banned by the
When
Beatles
you and the
as
team
well?
are pitching a new product, Grammarly's tone suggestion.
We can take on what remains of the Beatles.
Also, we have 1 minute, I believe.
Yeah.
Let's dance. Yeah. I'll read my
in lunchroom, lunch lady Doris in Lederhosen. Okay, I got German groove fire here. She serves rhythm. Some Uter?
Rhythm.
Who does she serve the Uter to?
I'm assuming Bart or Lisa or Milhouse
Or rhythm.
or Rhythm. Rhythm, Simpson, Flanders.
Dad says, where is Uter? We just want closure. Skinner, in fact, you might even say we ate Uter. And he's in her stomach right now and laugh. Well, scratch that tone, he says. 90s jokes.
Yeah, I like that one. He says scratch that one, not scratch that tone. That's what gives them up and makes Bart and Lisa realise what's happening, because it's a treehouse of horror and they need to get through it really quickly.
Yeah.
And I also like that Uter is this is also a prominent Uter role, and it's also a treehouse of horror. But I wouldn't consider him a treehouse of horror character.
He's only in like 10 episodes and like 6 of them are Treehouse of Horror.
He's in he's in the background all of the time. He's there consistently. He just hasn't said a word for like 14 years. It's very Sam.
Skinner is holding an armful of tickets. God bless the man who invented permission slips, he says.
Yeah, I just left that in because it's a nice little end to say how they got around Uter going missing all the time, is that they were given permission to lose him by the parent. And the mum saying we just want closure is, I'd say it's more of a friendly German trope than a bad parent trope, because it implies that they're not bothered about Uter, they just want to know certainly, and
so they can move on.
Yeah, I suppose it is quite not bad parenty really, but I just like the joyous way it's delivered. And
it is the fun, bubbly German maid, isn't it?
Yeah.
How about some artwork? But hey, before we go into that, do you think Uter did so well? Because we only saw him in future flash forwards, right?
No, I think he's still around because he is just consistently around. He just doesn't do anything anymore.
So you
And
still
it's
see him?
yeah, he's always in the background.
Oh, three. Uter Zorker by Simpsons Fanatic 33 on DeviantArt. What do you make of that one?
It's
Looks like
cute.
high quality Microsoft Paint skills going into that one.
It does.
You-
It looks very cast logo.
Do you think I might be Simpsons Fanatic 34?
It's possible.
Neighbor of the Beast.
Crudely rendered Microsoft Paint version of Uter. But what about this?
This
one
is Uter, if you will.
Cuter. Don't make me run. I'm full of cuteness.
Yeah, no, this is great. I like the shadow work. It always just makes them, I don't know, look more dramatic or look
Don't
more
get Rob started on shadow work.
posters.
Meet iodine.
Yeah, I think it's cute and it's good and it's a good representation of Uter as a character.
Cheeky. What makes you, Parnce?
I'm just trying to take in that background, trying to see if there's any Uter connections to this orangey browny background, white blots. But I think all those things are just there to accentuate the bag of Joy.
I think so. But it is the Joy's front and center with the beautiful choco lips.
Yeah, you can really see the joy in Uter's eyes as well.
The
I'm also
iodine.
saying this is like early to mid 90s. This is like the time of the Ren and Stimpy happy Joy. I wonder if there's any possible overlap between those two things.
Like to think so.
Only a historical check of the dates of when that episode would have been released, and the Ren and Stimpy episode could verify that, but heaven knows that we don't have the capacity to do so.
I don't know where the Ren and Stimpy dude came from, but it's possible that there's a crossover there with graining. Not that it would be this super specific. Who knows? But here's a Frinktober Day Marzipan Joys and Uter. Maybe this is by Tilt Haffenbrack. This is a unique take on the Ut.
This actually is a very modern Belgian graphic style. I feel I've seen like a similar image used for like a shared working space downtown Brussels.
Nice. It does look very like you would see it on a poster on a wall to dictate something, like go
Dictate
this way.
fun.
Yes, run, you are full of chocolate.
You too can be full of chocolate. He says he's got beer and he's got bratwurst and he's got these donuts and candy are splurting out. We're sweating that fudge, isn't he? By Till Haffenbrack.
We're taking a few Uter liberties, I would say, in that other than the her, it is a interpretation of Uter in that it is not Uter's the one outfit he's been seen in, other than his underpants.
No, I'd say a little bit of leeway given. German
That kid's got leeway.
Anyway, it's a nice one. It's my favorite of the three. And the final one, Uter Zorker MHS style by Randino, 1997 on DeviantArt.
Nice. What is MHS?
Who knows? 12,
Not
19.
suitable for work.
I see. Minecraft. This is a Minecraft Uter, you say.
Master of Health Science.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
MHS is a creepy smile, which if dictated at you, will indicate at some point they will try and make out with you. My house, son.
Again, another Venn diagram of those three things.
Anyway, this is a kind of block version of him. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cute. It looks a bit Jack Skellington.
Jack Skellington meets Ghetto Blaster face.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or SpongeBob or a brick.
Oh, yeah. SpongeBob Buzzins pants.
How's he even holding that chocolate bar? He's got no fingers. How does he
Deconstruction.
Smell? Like chocolate.
Keep me out of this. What about the letter U on his frontispiece?
Yeah, he could have lost that. He's not a superhero unless he is the Candyman once again.
I'm the Candyman, and the Candyman is back.
What a time.
And the Candyman is back. It's a great album. It's When I Was Born for the Seventh Time by Corner Shop.
Exactly. Everybody needs bosoms for pillows.
Exactly. Oh, look. Anyway, look who's arrived.
Who is it?
I knew we would get you, James Woods. What do you say, my friend, Robbie?
It's James Woods.
I have a stick made of nails in my hand, but in James Wood's hand. Old Busty, it's called. Jock and the Mouse.
And V bloody and covered in spit.
James Woods is here. I picked myself up off this trolley and I'm grinning. Now, where's that bastard vampire? I got some tweeting to do.
To be continued.
Shall we finish with a song?
Let us. I'm going to use this time to display my Ask connections that I found via the medium of this end song.
Gurgling, go midget, trustworthy me hoose.
I will let Parnce go second. Just read your favourite non-words.
This is now second. zoom it in a bit? Yeah, there we go. I also agava a bag of marzipans, joy bejoys.
You, no connection.
Bangestizer, Kinsley, and Boak.
Hammer is sopa box and he's a no-yoted.
Probably enjoyed.
I don't want something Brit, a naked Uter.
Grink abusive himmer, water is don't mac.
Doris murdered and served him for dinner.
Go back to France.
Tom Simonian, their own zazzy shoes.
Database presumably friends. Moleman bully.
Exchange William Grunskip to Gilden Skinnerlock shoes away.
HGO go back to France.
Leather Holmes grown up Wesley owning.
Todd presumably friends.
Scoofing a lot of cake on the cooking and charity chick.
He falls to whose tit because he fat.
Ashmere Sam Lowline delivery. Troy.
Dads, don't naughty look a little gibby naggy, big Kevin German.
Peter Hegvant Skinny isn't more the Rimplers.
Troy may be familiar with his works.
We just WNA to Clausrue.
Says Uter, his sloopy Jim the Skinny lederhosen clothes.
Santa, same as Troy.
Skinner, I beat us. Skinner, I beat us. Skinner, I beat us, holding armful.
The end.
Barb bosoms.
The end.
The end. Armful of tickets.
Those swearing things.
What was that you just said?
Watergate.
It has been an delight, utterly delightful to speak with you gentlemen today.
It would.
What was that you just said?
I can't believe it's not Uter.
I can't believe it's not.
Uter.
Say that line.
I can't believe it's not Uter. During a school trip to the zoo, Uter, I am liking the monkeys, yeah. They remind me of my crazy cousins back in Germany. But do they swing from trees and eat bananas too? Question mark. Uter. 9. They swing from buildings and eat sausages.
That's very good.
The end.
The end.